With the help of unique rock carvings discovered all over the world, scientists frequently argue that painting is the first form of artistic expression. However, is it possible to acknowledge there are some forms of art that predate painting? For example, jewelry. Though it is not exact, but it is very likely that at first people decorated themselves, before realizing that they could also decorate stones by painting on them. Shells, pebbles of interesting shape and color, bones, animal fangs. Humans have attempted to adorn themselves with items made of these materials since the beginning of time. And not just in this life. Archaeologists find a wide variety of jewelry in tombs. The oldest jewelry discoveries date all the way back to the Stone Age, about 110,000 years old. And during all these millennia, jewelry art has been developing, reaching to incredible heights. Today, the most exquisite and valuable pieces of jewelry can fetch hundreds of millions of dollars, and there are always people eager to possess them. Today, jewelry art usually tells a tale of elegance, priceless materials, and complex techniques, while meanings are secondary. Only wedding rings have retained their meaning and purpose on a global scale. Some other concepts behind jewelry have also survived, but usually within the boundaries of certain regions. For instance, national jewelry is quite popular in Central Asia. These jewelry pieces have the ability to communicate interesting information without using words. For example, they can reveal the owner's age or position within the family hierarchy. Since ancient times, jewelry has always been an integral part of everyday life for Kazakhs. It was used in many rituals and traditions and was commonly made from silver. Although we have been developing gold mines as well, silver was a more popular material. Kazakhs believed that the food would be more delicious and beneficial for health if the woman preparing it would wear silver rings or bracelets. Silver was generally seen as a symbol of health and purity, and hence, silver jewelry was quite popular. The positive energy of such jewelry pieces was enhanced by the symbols that were applied to this noble metal and the shapes that were given to it. The same can be said about precious stones. They were chosen not only for their beauty, but also for their properties. In addition to studying how stones affected health, people also studied their magical qualities, which included protection from the evil eye or thoughts of ill wishers. It is believed that the first professional jewelry in our steppe appeared about 4 millennia ago. Many things come together to define the term professional. Not only that the products had excellent decorative properties, but also the fact that jewelers, called zergers in Kazakh, were specialists who made single-piece items, protected and honed their craftsmanship from generation to generation. And they succeeded quite well. Today, the territory of Kazakhstan is considered one of the historical points of development of the world jewelry art. Nomads especially impressed the world with their unique animal style. And it was not even about the content. Zoomorphic motifs were used all over the globe. This jewelry was impressive because of the sophisticated techniques used to make it. The jewelry was often very small, but carefully textured and detailed. The metal bodies of animals were usually three-dimensional and yet incredibly smooth. In the global space, animal style is always associated with the so-called golden men. They were discovered in old tombs at various points in Kazakhstan's history. Usually, these are the remains of honorable individuals, most often warriors. Each of these warriors' entire posthumous attire consisted of roughly 4,000–5,000 gold pieces. For modern Kazakhs, the image of the golden warrior holds such historical significance that it has come to represent the country's freedom.
Currently, Kazakhstan is highly respected by scientists, archaeologists, and ancient studies experts worldwide. It is appropriate to refer to this country as the home of the golden men. In addition to the discoveries made at the Sik, Taldi, Yaleksazi, and Daralta Bay, there may have been comparable discoveries made during excavations in other locations. Some burials were looted. However, there are some that have reached us intact. Perhaps if the burial mounds were not looted, we would most likely have not just 8, but 80 golden men.
But what about today? What historical stage is the world jewelry art at now? It seems that it entered the era of conceptual experiments 50 years ago. Masters are expanding the boundaries of creative consciousness, no longer chasing after expensive stones and metals. They have decided that it is possible to express oneself with the help of most ordinary and accessible materials. Any material is acceptable: plastic, foil, wire, polyethylene, and even parts from a washing machine or motor vehicles. An increasing number of artists believe that the idea, not the medium, is what matters most.
What I recall from the exhibition, the piece demonstrating a human organism, a bladder, heart, lungs, thighs, stomach. And there was also a second heart.
Там второе сердце есть.
Astana's conceptual jewelry exhibition drew an impressive attendance. In the cultural life of the capital, it was something fresh and powerfully evocative. The exhibition is quite big. We have 130 works by 35 artists from 7 countries on the display. It's an impressive event on an international scale. They employ a variety of techniques and materials, ranging from silicone breast implants to shampoo bottles. It's actually quite a long-standing practice to use non-traditional materials in jewelry art. This fashion originated in Europe during the 1970s and 1980s. We are only now starting to discuss it in Kazakhstan, but I am confident that we have a great deal of potential. I believe that after this exhibition, our artists can become more acquainted with this approach and begin to work in this direction. There were about 130 pieces at the unusual exhibition. Furthermore, practically every display has the potential to guide each visitor along a unique road of introspection. Why is a breast implant used to make this brooch? What is the meaning of the metal palms that surround this implant? Although there are many possible interpretations, it turns out that the author himself raises awareness of the importance of respecting women's rights and encouraging support for them everywhere through his work. Another author urges people to live in harmony with nature while crafting jewelry out of termite-infested wood. I enjoyed the exhibition a lot. Each piece has a profound meaning. At first, you just stand there wondering what that meaning is. Then you read the description and realize that for some pieces, your interpretation was right, while for others, it wasn't. I really enjoy visiting such exhibitions. Being a creative person myself, I find it fascinating to observe other creative people's perspectives and methods of presenting their ideas.
My name is Abelay Murashbekov. I'm a sculptor and these are my works. This is a series of industrial trophies specially made for this exposition. Just playing with the idea of experimentation and free thought, I created 3 helmets. Like all the participants here, I made a small experiment with the use of plastic, recycled materials, wire, and overall various metals. The main concept of the whole exhibition is experimentation. It's a new way of looking at simple things. I also wanted to make something unique, hence I made these 3 helmets. I wanted the visitors to wonder why these pieces look like animal trophies. Does it have something to do with killing the animals or with doing harm to nature in general? I use secondary materials and make sure that the viewers know that. I copied 3 animals here: a deer, an argali, and a saiga. My intention is to raise awareness on human impact on all of this. I want people to think about the consequences of their actions towards the nature. Moreover, I want them to know that secondary materials can be widely used, just like these helmets.
There weren't many pieces by Kazakh artists on display. As the organizers of the exhibition have already said, local artists are still only beginning to understand the concept of ruthlessly shattering all jewelry stereotypes and destroying all jewelry templates. But the process has already begun, and the viewer merely needs to observe it.
In general, on behalf of young people, I would like to see more experiments, no matter how cliché it sounds. There are not enough right now. I would like to express myself more using different angles, that is, to interact more with the audience. In fact, I wanted the audience to be able to try on these helmets. They are quite wearable. This is the kind of an interaction I mean. It would be interesting.
The exhibition co-curator Zhanna Asanova discusses the challenges of organizational work. Since jewelry often consists of small individual pieces, it can be challenging to arrange them appropriately in an exhibition space. Furthermore, the process becomes considerably more difficult when the jewelry pieces are conceptual, that is, unique and entirely different from one another. Were the exhibition organizers able to handle it? Well, it doesn't really matter from the perspective of the visitor. What is far more useful is that the guests were able to view the works of many extraordinary people from various countries throughout the world in one place, and were introduced to a level of creativity that was rather unusual. There are many different countries represented at the exhibition, and the participants are gathered from all over the world. These artists are actively displaying their work in renowned galleries across the globe. One of them is Ted Noten. His work is over there, if you can see it. He once designed a crown for Queen Maxima of the Netherlands. Ted is a world-famous artist whose work are displayed in all of the world's most renowned galleries. In addition, there are also participants who have tried themselves for the first time, including Kazakh artists who debuted at this exhibition, and I'm very glad about it. By the way, my works are represented here as well. In addition to being the exhibition's curator, I am an artist. Here are 2 of my creations that explore the idea of non-traditional materials through the use of upcycling techniques. I have actually been creating jewelry for a while now, but I have only lately begun working with conceptual jewelry. But from the very start, I was really interested in this field. When I saw that with the help of jewelry, you can express your point of view, convey your message or idea, it immediately caught my attention. So I decided to try it. Though it is still relatively new phenomenon, conceptual jewelry is evolving all the time. Right now, both the ranks of masters who choose to focus on the concept and the ranks of fans of the still somewhat outrageous jewelry art are swelling. I think the first and foremost priority to develop this new direction of concept jewelry art is to popularize it, to introduce people to this direction. I think the exhibition went great. It can be considered a success if you remembered something from it. And if it prompted genuine interest within people, then it means that it spoke to them on a deep level. In my opinion, that's how it should be.